Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 155 of the Audible Farm Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Couchtown Coffee. Couchtown Coffee is roasted right here in Iowa. It's my favorite coffee. I drink it every morning, and I'm serious. I really do drink it every morning. When I run out, it's a pretty sad deal. I end up having to go to the big box stores or just get one of those, mass-produced generic coffees, and they're not my favorite. I think one of the reasons I like Couchtown Coffee so much is the fact that they roast it made to order, and they don't, I feel like a lot of the stores, when you get coffee at let's just say a big box store, you end up with the coffee that's pretty roasted to a crisp. And Couchtown Coffee is not like that. It's fresh roasted. It's amazing. It's nice light flavor, but it's still robust. It's one of my favorite coffees I've ever had. If you want to check it out, go to couchtowncoffee.com. Find a coffee you like, make an order, and when you do, let them know Audible Farm sent you, and they'll give you 20% off. Why? Because Couchtown Coffee is that awesome. Thanks, Couchtown. This episode, I'm sitting down with Scott Dahl. Scott Dahl's been on the podcast a few different times, a couple times for, just him and talking about his music and things like that. And then he's been on with the Chris Carr Band again, and he's been on talking about the Rockin' Picnic. And guess what? It's Labor Day weekend coming up, and Rockin' Picnic is right around the corner. This Saturday and Sunday is the Rockin' Picnic. We talk about that, who's on the show, what goes into putting on the show, some of the people that are, kind of in charge of certain things, the fact that there's still camping available, and things you can do to help make your time there a little bit easier. If you guys have time for volunteer work, they've got some spots open as well. So hit them up for that. We talk about all that in this podcast and more. It's a little bit shorter this week than most. It's not a bad thing, though, because I think we talked about all the things we needed to talk about, and then that's pretty much it. We talk about it a little bit at the end, but if you want to hear some of Scott's stories, go to Scott's first podcast I did with him. He was one of the first people I ended up doing a podcast with. I've known him for quite a while. He's been in the music scene for quite a while, and he helps out at the Rockin' Picnic. He's the MC and more, so check it out. Go to the Rockin' Picnic this weekend and enjoy this episode. It's episode 155 with Scott Dahl.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
All right. So today I'm sitting down with Scott Dahl. Scott Dahl, you've been on the podcast before, and this is becoming a tradition. This is the third time I think I've had you on the podcast near the Rockin' Picnic.
Correct. It's actually my fifth appearance.
You're up there with like the Clint Riedel numbers.
No. Those guys are interesting, and I'm not.
Oh, I don't know about that. You do the Rockin' Picnic thing. Are you on the committee officially for this, or?
Well, I joined the committee back about 9 years ago. I don't run anything. I simply volunteer my help and help where I can, which is what everybody does. So It's a committee of anyone. There could be anywhere from 9 to 15, 20 people in a meeting.
Oh, dang.
So,
yeah, it's a group effort there.
Yeah.
But you're one of the people that's kind of like the MC, I guess you could call yourself, at the event.
Yeah, they invited me. Actually, I asked them a few years ago if there was anything I could do to help, and they said the stage was open for any volunteers. So it's kind of started helping bands get on and off, and trying to organize the stage, and that turned into the MCing. So my wife Deb and I have really taken ownership of it. It's really fun to do.
Yeah,
and it's cool to be involved, and we just love doing it.
Okay, so let's imagine this is somebody's first time listening to this. What is the Rockin' Picnic?
The Rockin' Picnic is a free event on the Sunday before Labor Day at Lower Sheldon Park in Humboldt, Iowa, where we have on Saturday night the 14th, we will have a shrimp boil approximately 5 or 6 o'clock. It is free will donation. At 7 o'clock, we will have Brutal Republic with Jeremy Ober from 7 to 10 that night. And great band. They draw a lot of entertainment. A lot of people there to see them. it's just a great band. We don't normally repeat bands, but they did so good for us last year. We thought we'd do it again. So
Yeah, I definitely have to say the Saturday night show is like the sleeper show. It's
Yep.
it's the awesome show that it's almost like people just like, I'll just go to the Sunday show because that's the all day. It's like, no, you got to get to the Saturday
correct.
show.
And speaking of the Sunday show, that it basically is the Rockin' Picnic. The event that day is Sunday. We start music about 1 to 1:30 in the afternoon, and we have 4 or 5 bands through the day. We have acoustic sets by Clint Riedel, Jesse Wilson, Zach Sunken's going to come in and do some music for us. Just there's no downtime. It's entertainment and music all afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts about it, is the fact that when the bands are changing on the side, you do a quick change over to the acoustic and they're ready to go. And
yeah, what I've found by going to concerts is I went to see Marshall Tucker a couple weeks ago up at the Roof Garden, and I saw Grassroots a week after that. But the issue I have with those shows is there's 45 minutes between bands.
Oh man, yeah.
45 minutes, and it makes no sense because the equipment's already on stage.
Yeah.
It's all sitting there.
It's already been sound checked and everything. You just gotta, especially in a pro setup like that.
And it's downtime that I've paid $35 or $40 a ticket, whatever, or on one was complimentary. Thank you, Rod. But still, it's downtime that is not enjoyable. So what I've done with the Rockin' Picnic is, we've got a band at 3 o'clock. We got a band at 5. We got a band at 7. But in between, when we're doing the stage switch, I put an acoustic player up on stage to entertain the people for 25, 30 minutes while the people on stage, the sound man, and everybody are making the switches.
Yeah, and that was something I got to see firsthand last year. Was I got to volunteer backstage and be one of the people that helps haul gear and
I do have an open slot if you're ready.
I've got some time to do it.
All right.
I'll probably be there, possibly playing with Jesse on an acoustic
That's fine.
set. But I would definitely volunteer some time before that for sure. And that was something I'd played in the Rockin' Picnic a couple years, and I was like, all right, this is cool. Then I had to volunteer at it. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of work going on back here. I mean, like, I saw it firsthand hauling my own gear, but when it came time to just like, all right, we got to move a whole entire drum set off, there's no time to like break it down one piece at a time.
Right.
Luckily, they've got the big set of stairs there. You can walk it up and down.
There's a big ramp that we use for uploading or loading on the stage, and there's some stairs that we use to clear the stage. So one band will be going down while another band can be coming up. We try to have all bands prepped and set up an hour before it's time to go on and go on stage, and that means drum equipment is set up, not necessarily in the position it needs to be, but all the stands are up, all the cymbals are loaded, all the drums are assembled, the amps are there, the guitars are tuned up or as good as they can be at the time. We try to have as much ready to simply carry it up on stage, position it, and go to town.
Yeah.
Make music.
Yeah, and honestly, like of all the years I've been there, I don't really think there's ever been much downtime at all. Like the only downtime is pretty much just being like, hey, give this guy a hand, and now we're going to this band.
Right.
It's like pretty much all it is, which is pretty sweet.
And that's part of the thing. We are a nonprofit organization. We don't have any way of income other than people's donations. And the donations that we took last year are paying for this year's show. Donations from this year will pay for next year's show.
Yep.
So we do need to get out. We don't have any sponsorship or anything like that. Nobody that actually is committed or signed to, put their name on the and we're not looking for anybody to put their name on it because it's still the Rockin' Picnic.
Yep.
But without stopping for 3 or 4 minutes between bands and saying thank you to radio stations and people that donate this, and I mean, there's all sorts of things that are donated, but we need to let people know who's doing that.
Yeah.
So yes, there is a 3-4 minute spot where you got to stand and listen to me talk, and I apologize. I run long.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody hasn't listened to the past podcast and you're listening to this one, Scott's been on a few times, and we have some good conversations on here.
Yes.
And I mean, it seems like we might, to the layman or the people that just like listen to this all the time, or the locals, it's like, well, haven't you done this podcast before? Like, it sounds like just a repeat of last year, but it's actually not a repeat of last year. You got a different setup of bands, you got a different lineup. It's the same days. It's always the Saturday and Sunday before Labor Day.
Correct.
So you always have Labor Day off, so you can just chill out, So the Sunday show, I mean, people see it on the face value, and they're like, Sunday concert? Oh, I'm not going to a Sunday. Oh, it's like, oh, yeah, it's Labor Day. Yeah. So you got the day off.
It's the ultimate time to have a party.
Yeah.
Because you don't do anything. Nobody works on, well, not nobody, but very few people work on Monday of Labor Day.
Yeah.
So why not have your party on the Sunday prior?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it always seems to be really good weather too. I don't think there's ever been a year I was there. There was I know there was one year it rained pretty bad, but hasn't rained in the last 4 or 5 years I've been there. So.
Yeah. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we had Lazy River was the closing act, and a wall of water hit us about 4 songs in. But we knew it was coming, but we tried to get as much in as we could. Mm-hmm. We just didn't realize how bad it was going to be when it got there.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And it was bad.
That's not good. But, I mean, that's weather permitting. I mean, it always seems like we got pretty lucky there. I say we, but you guys run the Rockin' Picnic, and this is the 13th year you've done it?
13 years. It's my 9th year of participation in it. I went to the first couple and as a visitor or as a spectator, and they were great. That's when I told them, how can I help? They offered me what I could do to help at the stage, and I've taken it and run. And it's not just me, but Deb, my wife, she's actually, it's come over the last 3 or 4 years that I'm just up there talking. Mm-hmm. I do a little organization backstage, but when the bands come in and unload and load up again, Deb is in charge.
Yeah.
And the best part about it is nobody gives her any slack.
No, they don't. Not
they know that Deb is there for a reason and taking care of business.
Yep.
And she says, move them amps, pick up them guitars, whatever. People are doing it.
Yeah, so. It always works. And it's not like she's mean about it either. She just says, this is what we need to do, and people do it. And
it's a matter of everybody respects, Yep. It's not like she doesn't know anything about handling equipment, band equipment.
Yeah.
She's only been around me for 35 years,
exactly, yeah. But yeah, plus she's done it a time or two. And sometimes there's things that somebody that's watching what's going down and helping from an outside perspective can see that the bands can't see. Because you could just be all right, I got my gear, it's sitting here. And it's well, no, could you set it over here? Because all this stuff's going to come down this way. So she knows the order of operations for maybe a first-time band or whatever. Yeah, backstage, it's not just a bunch of equipment sitting around. There's stuff coming up. There's a place for things going up. There's a place for things coming down. It's organized back there. Yep.
So we need the musicians' help in creating that, and they all do. We haven't had any flack from anybody. I had one guy last year in a Speedo, and I think he knows who he remembers who he is.
I remember that. Yeah. That ended pretty quick. That was pretty.
But it's a family show. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is a public park, but come on, people. Let's tone it down just a notch, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone always seems to have a really good time there. It's always kind of fun because I've played early in the show, and I've spent a lot of time there early in the show because that's usually when a lot of the local people are there, and so I go early in the show, and the place already has 200 people there, and it's what the heck? This is insane. It's 2 in the afternoon. There's already 200 people in their small town in one place, and there may be 200 people there, but they're all spread out. There's nobody right up front listening to the band because, of course, it's still afternoon, and, but. That's what you don't realize is there's not only there 200 people out there in front of you in a distance, there's another 200 or 300 people out in the park in their campers that are also listening to your show and listening to the music you're making. So and I remember last year when this went, you gave everyone the opportunities you can sit in your car and listen to it, and it was actually a ludicrously viable option. It was so I saw people that had the most primo parking spots with their windows down, just taking it in, and then when it was done with, they took off. So it was pretty awesome. I thought that was one of the cool things. So if you're thinking about going this year and you're maybe worried about masks or COVID or things like that, the car, I highly suggest the car as an option. And it's the same thing this year. It's still an option. If you're not comfortable, do what you please. Yep. Yep. Yeah. And it worked out. I mean, it worked out great last year. Everyone had a great time. There wasn't, a single issue. So, I mean, hats off to everybody for being civil individuals. Right. So we've talked about the Jeremy Ober and Brutal Republic on Saturday night. Yep. Let's get to the Sunday show. All right, the Sunday show. Actually, I found your post here that you made in the Rockin' Picnic group, and it's got the list of everybody and when they show up. Well, go ahead and read it down if you want. Oh, man. So Stampeding River Caterpillars at 1:30. They were there in some iteration maybe last year or the year before. That's a band that they haven't had issues. They've had things come up. Last year we had MGCC booked, which is Gene Walker and his group down there from Fort Dodge.
something happened. Somebody couldn't make it, so they switched it to the Stampeding River Caterpillars, which is another of his groups, a couple of the same members, but more of a bluegrass acoustic style stuff. So we went from a full band to the acoustic thing last year. So this year, we agreed with, Gene, talked to Gene. He wanted to get on again. I said, yeah, we'll get you a full band. And again, something has happened. Nothing, it's out of their control. But, so we have again switched it to the acoustic set. I've moved them, shuffled them around a little bit. I picked up a band out of Fort Dodge called State Parks.
Yeah, I saw that. I hadn't heard of them, so that's going to be cool to check
Blake
them out.
Strickland is my contact there. He's the drummer for the band. His dad plays with Chris Carr Band.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about that once, and I was just like, I don't know. I guess I didn't know he was in a band. So
well, as of right now, they are slated for the I believe 2:00 slot.
That's what you got down. Yep.
So we're gonna have the Caterpillars from 1:30 to 2. And at that time, State Parks will have already done a sound check, so they can just fire right up and play for 30 minutes solid. When they're done, they will tear down. Clint will come up and do some acoustic stuff, and I don't know, he might have Brad or somebody with him. It doesn't matter to me.
I think he might. Yep.
If they bring one guy or along, that's great. But if you bring 3 guys, that's more than we got to set up. More that we have to set up and the whole point is to get one guy up to play acoustic and go home.
That's what I was thinking logistics about it, because like Jesse was like, if they give me a spot to have you play, do you want to play? And I was like, yeah, sure, but it should probably be acoustic, because then I have to I got to plug in an amp, then someone's got to mic it up, and you got to go through all the extra stuff.
And I appreciate that, and sound guy appreciates that too, because our concentration is not getting 5 guys set up to play acoustic. Our intention is to get the band off and get another band on and watch this hand while we're doing this over here.
Yeah. The acoustic thing is fun because you almost let them soak up half the stage.
Yep.
And then you just flip-flop the other half and you just go back and forth,
So when, like I said, we got MGCC, State Parks, not MGCC, but the Caterpillars.
Yep.
State Parks. Clint Riedel's going to do a little set. We've got Ned Freely Band going to do an hour and a half of good rock and roll.
Yeah.
And that's some local guys from Algona, Humboldt area. When Ned Freely gets done, we've got Jesse Wilson.
Some local guys I could just gloss over just a little bit.
Well, it's the importance is there's 4 guys in the band. Jack Diamond from Algona plays guitar. Donnie Wagner, everybody's neighbor from St. Joe. The guy is 84 years old. Plays harp, just phenomenal harp.
Awesome.
Plays good bass guitar. Eldon Landolt from Livermore. He's also up there in age. And Steve Curry from Humboldt. He's a local class of 73. Has participated in many ways with the picnic.
Yep.
He plays bass and guitar with us. I do happen to play drums with the band, and I do have an issue putting my own band on. I hope people don't give me a hard time, which I have already, but it's not about me up there. It's about 4 guys that deserve the opportunity.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing. So it's it's live, and we're keeping it live, keeping it local.
Yep.
When Ned's done, I believe Jesse Wilson's going to give us some time, right?
There you go. Yep.
And you're going to join Jesse for half an hour, and that's going to be about from 4:30 to 5:00.
Yep. I believe that's the plan, but I guess the only other option is show up and find out if I'm there, because I will be there in one capacity or another on Sunday.
Good. And then at 5:00, we've got a band from Des Moines called the Sons of Gladys Kravitz. I know a couple of the members in the band, and there's a reason I've fought to get them for a couple years, and finally negotiated a price to get them up here. They are very good at doing Kansas and sticks. I talked to him. I messaged him yesterday that we have a request for a couple of Pink Floyd songs, and he says absolutely. So,
nice.
Very, very technical band. Not just a screaming guitar and a drum and a bass, but these guys have got some keyboards. They've got a viol or fiddle that actually doesn't sound like a fiddle all the time. It sounds like things that the band is doing in Kansas and sticks and things like that. So
that would be awesome.
And they are very entertaining. I invite anybody that's got any doubts about the picnic to come out and at 5:00 and enjoy the Sons of Gladys Kravitz.
Nice. That's good promotion. Yep. I want to check them out. I have seen the name across my Facebook a few times, just having been down in Des Moines and involved a little bit in that scene. So that's cool.
Well, I'm glad that we got them, but they're not the headliners either. We've also got Zach Sunken, another local guy that has helped us before. He's going to do some acoustic music from 6:30 to 7:15, somewhere in there. And at 7:15, we're probably going to do a lot of promotion stuff. We might, we know we've got an auction that we might, we won't be doing it then, but we'll be promoting that. We'll do a 50-50. We've got a guitar we're going to auction off. We've got some can bins. We've got some board games that we're going to auction off. Go ahead and grab that there. Yeah. This is, every year we have a guitar that we auction off. And we have every band that plays on the stage over the weekend sign it. So it'll have autographs all over it. And then we auction that off at the end of the night on Sunday. It'll be about 8:45 Sunday night when we auction this off. And it brings quite a good contribution for the. Actually, each year, the last 3 or 4 years, somebody has actually paid for a band the next year by buying this guitar.
Yeah, that's an awesome feeling.
And this is a brand new Fender Telecaster guitar.
Yep, it's absolutely brand new. It's actually set up really well too. I was playing it a little bit earlier. It's a real nice little guitar. I can't wait to see how much this goes for. The auction time is like another one of those unsung fun times at the Rockin' Picnic, because people get very into what they want to buy.
Get into it, and there's a lot of inebriation going on by that time, too.
Yeah, that's true. We were talking about how 200 people are there when the show starts. It gets packed by nighttime, and people get up there next to the stage, the whole 9 yards.
And it gets fun.
It's a good time.
Anyway, back to the... we're going to do that auction, but about 7:30 is when our headliner is going to start. We had these guys a couple of years ago, and everybody enjoyed it and loved it and asked for them back again, so we've negotiated to get them back, and it's Rolling Thunder, the music of AC/DC. These guys are out of the Quad Cities area, and they were here 2 years ago, and the fans went nuts. They were great. I mean, it was just like having AC/DC up there with the costumes and the voices and the music. It's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome how much they sounded like AC/DC. I know you get the we're a cover band or we're a tribute band or whatever. Yeah. These guys. Like, you could have just closed your eyes and been like, yeah, it's AC/DC there. It was so close. It was insane. And yeah, everyone went nuts, because who doesn't like AC/DC? Plus, that's another one of those bands where, you're just like, I know a lot of AC/DC songs. And then they play for 2 hours. And you're like, I knew all of these songs. Like, how do I know 2+ hours worth of AC/DC songs? Like, almost all the words and everything.
And not only did they play 2.5 or 3 hours of music of AC/DC songs that we all knew, they left out 2 or 3 that they didn't play.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing when they got done. People were just yelling for more, and it was just like, oh, yeah, they didn't play that one, you know? So it's kind of crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, they were good a couple of years ago. I can't remember if I played on that show or not. It's been a couple of years since I've been there and played, but yeah, I mean, the Rockin' Picnic, it's always been a great time. You guys welcomed me when I kind of started getting back into music, and I hopped up there with a buddy of mine, Dan Blair, and we played one of the early sets, and that was such a fun time, having the opportunity to play for people in front of my own hometown.
And you've done and I'm not saying that influenced it or sparked it, but you've done so much since then.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what we like to do at the beginning of the show, on the early and afternoon show, is we like to get somebody young. And this year it's going to be State Parks, the brand new band. They've played a couple shows down at Bootleggers, I think it was, down at Fort Dodge.
Cool.
Give them a chance at big stage, big sound.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another fun thing. Yes, the bar setup is nice. You can have just the mixer with the 2 speakers, and it sounds cool and stuff. But when you go out there with a full power setup, it's just like, oh, this is cool. Somebody else is micing me up and controlling how I sound. And I remember the first time I went with a sound guy, I was like, this is nerve-wracking. How can I trust this other person? And it's like, just trust them. They know what sounds good,
And having the sound guy out there, and by the way, our sound man is Mike Wiedemann from I believe he's from Lehigh.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
He has grandfathered himself into doing the thing every year, and we're not looking for anybody else, because it's just a home family fun organization, and it's a great event.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that I've got, is so many people on September 6th or 7th, when, on Tuesday or Wednesday, they'll say, "What, Rockin' Picnic? What's that?"
Yeah.
Or they'll say, "Yeah, I don't really want to go out there," because they think maybe there's, it's, I don't know, they think it's full of nudity and drugs, and it's not. It's a family fun event.
The crazy thing about it is not only is there music, but there's also like beanbag tournaments and things like that. There's camping, a lot of camping. Is there even any camping left?
I think all of the actual hookups are sold out.
All right.
But if you are willing to run a generator or anything like that, there's plenty of room. Tent camping, you name it. You can camp out in the back of your pickup for all we care.
Yeah.
As long as you pay the park
you
rates.
Pay the park. Yeah.
You're not paying us. You're paying the park rate.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Once again, hats off to the park for letting you do that there at the park too. You know, that's a pretty sweet thing. Because I think that's like a county park, so I mean that's a completely different board of people you got to go through to try to get it all done. So
and they take care of us, and we've done. Last year we donated $1,000 back to them, and I think we agreed to do it maybe for 3 years in a row. Mm-hmm. But give them $1,000 from the committee that way, and to use that $1,000 on improvements down in Lower Sheldon. Now I know this year they're working on electrical in the shelter house so that we can. We do some barbecue, which we haven't even discussed yet. We do some barbecue on Sunday afternoon and evening, which takes a lot of roasters and a lot of power. And we've asked them to improve that, and they've been working on that. I know there might be some stage improvements next year. I've heard, not from our donation, but I've heard that the Conservation Board is planning on putting more hookups to the east of the stage, to the east of the Circle Dock area, the drive there.
Yep.
And possibly even a new shower room somewhere out there.
They used to have one there for a while, I remember.
Well, they've got some restrooms down to the south and west of the stage there. Yep. But they need I think the plan is to knock them down.
They got to update those, for sure. I do remember they used to have like a shower room down there in Lower Sheldon, but it was like a thing they had to put up every year and then take down every year, and I think they ended up getting rid of it altogether.
Yeah. But the Conservation Board is making improvements to and anybody that knows camping in Sheldon Park know that it has tripled in size in the last few years. Yeah. They're putting a lot of money into it, making it a great place for campers. And now we're asking them to work down a little bit more on the low end, on the Lower Sheldon. Yep. And that's what they're doing. Yeah, because I mean, like everything at the quote unquote Upper Sheldon is usually where everybody camps now. Yep. The Lower Sheldon is kind of like the recreational area. Yep. And I mean, it's a great park. I mean, I spent a lot of time there playing disc golf and things like that in the summer. So. And it makes it, if you're coming to play disc golf this weekend, it's probably going to be tough for you to do because there are campers in the way. Tents, campers, vehicles everywhere. Yeah. So you can try it, but you ain't gonna have much luck. Yeah, you're only gonna be able to play like 2 or 3 holes, maybe, because the rest of them are gonna be around people. So probably not gonna happen, unfortunately. Right. But again, the Conservation Board is doing all that work to help us out. We appreciate that. And about the barbecue. We actually do some barbecue. There's no food sales. There are no beer sales. We don't sell anything other than T-shirts, merchandise. We got some koozies, things like that, which we promote. Go get one. Here's the staff shirt from this year. Nice staff shirt, even. Yep. Nice. And I don't remember what color the actual for sale shirts are going to be, but. And it doesn't matter to me. I'm colorblind, so I wouldn't know what it is anyway. Really? Yeah. I didn't know. You got a drum of every color, and you can't tell what color they are. Yeah. No, we're not going to talk that. This is about the picnic. This is about the picnic right here. So again, Saturday night, Brutal Republic, shrimp boil, free will donation. Come on out. Sunday afternoon, starting at 1 o'clock or 1:30. We'll have a national anthem about 3 o'clock. We've got somebody going to sing the national anthem for us. We'll have a cannon that goes off. Oh, dang. As a signifying the start of the picnic. It's just all around fun. We'll have the barbecue going all afternoon on Sunday. If you're there at the right time, you might get a rib. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly pulled pork, things like that. Pulled pork's good. Yeah. I had it every year I've been there, and it's good every year. Again, it's free will donation. We'll have potatoes, chips, beans, potato salad, coleslaw. I'm not sure what all is going to be there, but
Good old fashioned picnic, you know, rockin' picnic. So
come down, drop $5, $10, $20, whatever in the kitty, and have some barbecue. Bring some lawn chairs.
Yep.
Bring your own refreshments and drinks. And bring some cameras. Have fun and take pictures of stuff. Post them on the Facebook site when you're done.
Yeah, definitely. Post them on Facebook. Put them in the group. There is a group that you guys have for the Rockin' Picnic online. There's the poster for it. Let me see here. I think if I click something here. Yeah, it's just called Rockin' Picnic, rock, and then an apostrophe N, apostrophe picnic.
Yep.
It's a public group, so if you guys want to hop in that group and check it out, that's where all the updates are coming from for the Rockin' Picnic. There are other places too, but that's kind of like your guys' headquarters on Facebook there.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check out this year's poster, or this year's lineups or set times, they're all in there. Thanks to Scott and Paul Larson as well. You know, he's another guy that's high up on the hog as far as Rockin' Picnic is concerned.
And you mentioned there's really nobody in charge. Paul does a lot of the legwork and keeping track of things. Sue does a lot of it, but there's about 8 or 10 people in the core group that just take on more than 8 or 10 people should be taking on.
Yeah.
We are looking for volunteers and people that want to join, but it's not, you don't just join and show up one day a year. I mean, we have meetings throughout the year, not a lot in the wintertime, and, you know, we'll start in the springtime, maybe have 1 or 2, because even while we're not having meetings, me and Paul are looking at booking bands. We had almost all of our bands, full bands booked in the fall last year.
Nice. That's how you do it.
You know, and if you got a band that you're interested in maybe having us look at, we welcome all ideas, but understand that we take in ideas from 75 different people.
Yes.
So just because your band doesn't get booked, you know, we can't have everybody, and it not doesn't mean that we didn't want the band. Maybe the band gave us a price. I have a band out of Minnesota that gave me a price that was just ridiculous, and that's the reason they're not playing.
Yep.
You know, we just can't swing it.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not trying to be like, hey, but not like they wouldn't be worth it. But
Right.
some bands are just out of their, out of the league of something like this, you know.
Yep.
And
you know, I talked to somebody again last night that had given us a name from Nashville a couple of years ago, and that's great. You know, we looked at them. I don't remember what the name of the group was, but I think he gave it to Paul, and he looked at him, sent it to me, and we looked at him, and that's great. But it's still going to cost us, $3,000 to get them up here from Nashville.
yeah,
So-
that's another thing. They got to travel the whole way to get.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit tougher.
Now, I did have a band from Nashville 2 years ago.
Yes.
Tom Buller came up and did the Saturday night show for
Yep.
us, and was more of on the countryside, but played blues the last hour of his show, and people just ate it up. It was great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't $3,000. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's like another thing is just getting on the Rockin' Picnic, is something I always kind of like wanted to do. And I remember you had asked me if Three Finger Betty would want to do it, and I was just, and then we were just like, well, that's, this is when I was first joined the band and nobody really knew much about it. And I was just like, well, I don't think the subject matter would fit like a family-friendly affair. So we swapped it out for me doing like a blues set instead.
Yeah.
And it worked out, just fine. So like, that's another thing. It's like, if the band doesn't get chosen, it's like, I also had to tell myself, like, it's a family event.
Yep.
It's just the way it goes.
And that's
like,
another thing is, I could have, I could hire a bluegrass band to put on the stage on a Sunday afternoon, but not everybody's bluegrass fans.
Yeah.
And I have to, we, the committee, have to decide or make the decision when we're looking at bands, is it going to keep everybody there?
Yes.
Or is it going to keep 30 people and send everybody else home? Because our funding comes from
everybody
people.
Donating. Yeah.
Yeah, the people. So we have to choose bands that are going to entertain a wide variety of people and not send them home.
Yep. And that's why, rock, country, blues, singer-songwriters, anything in those genres, which are like, widely accepted by almost everybody as music they enjoy.
It is called the Rockin' Picnic.
Yep.
And, if I had my choice, which I don't, but I just love classic rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the other thing, though, too, is you guys have it set up well enough where, like, the earlier sets are the acoustic stuff, and they start to dwindle off and get fewer and farther between by the end of the night, and that's when the rockin' starts happening.
Yep.
But that just makes sense, More people later at night are going to want to rock harder than 2 in the afternoon. You can't put the hardest rockin' band at 2 in the afternoon.
Correct.
So
we're and that doesn't mean we don't have country. We've had country acts on before. We had the Jeff Halverson's Honky Tonk Review a few years back, and we had a country band on Saturday night. We had a country act from Nashville 7 or 8 years ago that she played fiddle, and the name slips my mind, but it was a two-piece act.
That was the guy who played the drums,
yep.
and he also played the guitar while he played drums? Who
and
was
people
that?
Loved him. Yep.
Because I tried to remember who that was a few weeks ago to tell someone about it, and I couldn't remember their name.
I know her name. I just can't think of it right now, but I'll find it.
I'm sure I could probably scour around here a little bit and find it. Maybe we'll put it in post. I don't know.
Yep.
Show up this Sunday and ask Scott what the name of that band was. That's your objective. So, well, I mean, you've been on the podcast a few times to talk about, playing with Chris Carr Band and Ned Freely, and I know you've got other bands you're playing with. You want to just give them a shout out real quick?
I play with a band, one that formed a few years ago from the Spirit Lake area called the Borderline Outlaws, and they are pure hardcore honky-tonk country. I'm talking Buck Owens and George Jones, which I absolutely love. If I had a choice, everybody knows me. Anybody that knows me knows I love rock and roll, but I'd rather play a honky-tonk shuffle all night long.
Yeah.
As a drummer. And I'd love singing it, too. So play with them. That's really, I've got Ned Freely Band I play with. I've got the Chris Carr Band. Those are my main musical incomes right now. Mm-hmm. Now, I've got other bands that I've played with. I've got a Mandel Cook band that I played with back in July. I did a job. I've got a job coming up in October filling in with Jesse and the Medicine Men out of Des Moines. It's a country band. So, but somebody needs a drummer and it's something I can play.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean I can play everything. I mean, there's bands that don't call me because I'm not good enough. So,
not the style they're looking for, maybe. Yeah. That's probably the nicer way to say it. But yeah, no, I think that's one of the coolest things about you is you kind of you've got the main core bands, but you also fill up your schedule with, freelance jobs. I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah.
Yeah. And Caleb wins, by the way. He's got more jobs than I'll ever have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was something I remember seeing the comments on that episode.
I'm bowing to Caleb. He's much more popular than I'll ever be.
He turned down a gig to do the Saturday night show for Brutal.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Unfortunately.
I wish I could thank him, but I won't be there.
Oh, you're not going to be at the Saturday night show?
I have it's a long story, but I had to change my schedule around. I've got a job with Chris that night.
There you go.
Yeah. That is very important to the band, so to me. And Deb Dahl will be taking charge of the show on Saturday night.
Oh, look out, Ober.
Yeah. She'll say, those fine young boys.
Yep. Oh, yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. They were out there and they took their shirts off again this year. No. Oh, my gosh.
No, Deb is not like that. She has no issues.
No, she doesn't. But yeah, Brutal Republic, rock stars. Sunday is absolutely packed wall to wall with music. Guaranteed there's going to be somebody there that you will enjoy. I don't care what kind of music you like. There's going to be somebody there that you'll love. And everybody likes AC/DC. If nothing else, swing down for that AC/DC cover band at nighttime. It's going to be packed house.
It's a very family-friendly show. And if you don't believe that, Deb will do the show Saturday night, MC it. She's also doing the service at the Congo Church on Sunday morning. So come on down, nice. Do the sinning and the saving all at the same time.
There you go. Yeah, you can just pack it all in right there.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, like I said, if you want to listen to anything else Scott Dahl-wise, Chris Carr Band, things like that, just go listen to some of the older episodes. If you guys want to hear about the Rockin' Picnics years past, there's a couple episodes around this time last year and the year before that I did episodes with Scott. But Rockin' Picnic one more time. It's Saturday night and Sunday. The big show is Sunday afternoon. Saturday night's Brutal Republic. Sunday is a pile of bands. Go check out that Facebook group for full lineup when people are estimated to be playing. And the crazy part about that too is you guys keep a pretty tight ship on the schedule too.
Right.
Yeah, it's usually not off by 5 or 10 minutes ever.
If we're off by 10 minutes, I've greatly failed.
Yeah, exactly. It's wild. I can't believe how tight it is, but it's pretty sweet. So you guys check that out. I'll have a link down below to the Facebook group and the Facebook event. So check those out. Scott, appreciate you coming on. Did we forget everything or anything?
As always, we need to thank you for doing these podcasts. Did you think 2 years ago that you'd be doing 140, 150 weeks worth of?
No, not even a chance.
Well,
and here we are.
I'd say you've done well.
Yeah, this is pretty much like the anniversary of me doing this too.
Yep.
You know, because it's been 3 years almost exactly. That's
And I
pretty
haven't
wild.
given you any bad advice.
No.
No bad quotes.
Nope. It's the good ones. Yeah. If anybody's wondering, I've said it a million times on the podcast. This is the man that gave me the best advice that I almost took offense to. I was just like, that's not good advice, and then I started playing. I'm like, that's good advice. That's good advice. You know.
You know, and that's anybody that knows. A lot of people. I've made my enemies, I think, and there's a lot of people that don't care for me, but I am who I am. Spread the love.
Yeah,
which I don't do very often, but I try to preach it.
Yeah, I think that's a thing though in music, because there's like a meme out there that's like, this is the best compliment you can get from another musician at your show, and it's a kid going like this.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, that sounds about right, you know. And it's just got his arms crossed with a mean mug face. Nah, musicians are nice people. We got a great group of people up here, and that's one of my favorite things about this show is it helps showcase a lot of local talent, and like you said, some newcomers as well. So,
everybody promotes everybody.
Yeah,
when it comes to the musical family, I think everybody promotes everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great place up here to have people around. So check out that show, make some new friends, come out. One more time, I'm gonna say bring a chair. You know, definitely bring a chair, bring your own refreshments. If you need shade, bring an umbrella. Camping is still available, non-hookup.
Don't forget the bag games. There'll be 2 or 3 different tournaments going on through the day.
Yep. I think there might be a prize for those as well.
I think they're giving away an actual set of boards, maybe. I'm not positive on that, but I think that's what it was last year.
All right. Well, show up this year and see what you can win. You know, do the bag tournament. That's another fun one. I wasn't in it the last few years because I had to work. You're all lucky I'm not in it, so go out there and see if you can win it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that good at bags, but... Yeah, dude, fun time. It's gonna be great. It's right here in your own backyard if you're from Northern Iowa, and this is my hometown, so it's one of my favorite things to go to around Labor Day. So,
and speaking of, it is at Lower Sheldon Park, 1.5 miles west of Humboldt, Iowa.
Yeah, I mean it's
free admission,
basically in Humboldt.
Free admission. We just ask that you donate to help us pay for the bands next year.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean you can donate by doing some simple stuff like eating food and buying a T-shirt. You know, I mean that's like the easiest way to get a couple bucks in their pockets.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I almost forgot. We actually need volunteers on Sunday afternoon. Somebody to, you know, if you're a man and wife and you got an hour to spare, then come out and volunteer us for an hour to serve baked beans or something that, you know, help serving with food. Split the hour and do it for 30 minutes. It'll be done in like 10. You won't believe it went so fast.
Yeah.
Help us out. That's all we need is some people to lend a hand a little bit.
Absolutely. If you guys are looking to volunteer, hit up Scott online or find that Rockin' Picnic Facebook group, or just show up to the show and say, hey, I've got time to spare. I'll volunteer for an hour. So thanks, Scott. Really appreciate you sitting down and talking with me.
Thank you for letting me come up and waste your time.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks, everybody.
There it is, your yearly Rockin' Picnic review episode, I guess we can call it. It's been once a year. I think for the last 3 years we've talked about it. I think so. I guarantee you we did it last year. I know that for sure. And I think we did it the year before. I'd have to double back and check. But yeah, I've done a lot of different episodes with Scott. We talked about a lot of different things. And even in this episode, we talked about the Rockin' Picnic, what's going on this year, who's playing in it, what times the shows start, etc., etc. Don't miss that Saturday evening show. Like I said, that's a dark horse. That's a good show that a lot of people attend. It's not as packed as the Sunday show, but it's a good show. And it's going to be awesome this year. Brutal Republic always put on a good show. So check that out Saturday. Otherwise, all day Sunday, there's going to be some awesome stuff going on. So check out the show on Sunday, Rockin' Picnic. There's a bags tournament. You can camp if you want to. You just got to pay the fees to camp. Bring a chair. Bring your own refreshments. There's food there. Free will donation. They'll have T-shirts available for sale. They're auctioning off all sorts of customized items. They're made by people within the community, and all the funds that they take in go back to the Rockin' Picnic to put on next year's event. That's another really cool thing. Every year funds the next year. So if you're out there playing and people are loving it and they're donating money, guess what? You're paying for next year's event. So thank you guys for donating. Thank you guys for playing. Thank you to everyone who volunteers. I don't really have a whole lot to do with this other than the fact I've played the Rockin' Picnic a couple times and I've volunteered there a couple times. It's a fun show. I really believe in it. It's right in my hometown. I grew up here in Humboldt. It's one of my favorite things. I'm glad I got to be able to sit down with Scott and talk to Scott about this because it's just such a fun show for our little community. It's been going 13 years strong now. That's crazy. Maybe I'll have to get a new t-shirt. I've got a couple t-shirts for the Rockin' Picnic. I didn't wear one on the podcast this year. I wore my Vinny and the Night Prowlers shirt for everybody that didn't watch the video version. The Vinny and the Night Prowlers shirt, yeah, gotta love Vinny. One of his first shows with his bands, I think it was one of his first full shows ever, was at the Rockin' Picnic just a couple years ago. Just last year? I think it was just last year. Yeah, pretty good stuff. So, the Rockin' Picnic, they give new guys a chance. They give the seasoned veterans a chance. They give people from out of town a chance. Every now and then they'll bring in a band from another state and have them play. It doesn't happen very often, like he said, but it does happen sometimes. So it's one of my favorite events of the year. I hope you guys come out to see it. I'll tell you what, I'll do the same thing I did last year. It was tons of fun. If you come out there and you're wearing an Audible Farm shirt, I'll give you a free sticker. I'll give you a free Audible Farm sticker. I've got piles of different stickers. I'll just let you just pick one and you can have it. You can stick it wherever you want. You can stick it on your gear. You can stick it on your car. You can stick it on your dog. I don't know if you should stick it on your dog, but hey, it's your sticker if you come out with an Audible Farm shirt. You can do whatever you want with it. If you guys don't have an Audible Farm shirt, go to shop.audiblefarm.com, find a shirt you like, and just purchase that baby up. The new shirt designs that we have are starting to run low again already. They're already running low. So if you guys want one of the new shirts, hit me up at a show or hit up the shop. I do usually bring shirts with me to shows that I play. So if you come to a show that I'm playing at, say, hey, I want one of those Audible Farm shirts, and you never know, maybe I'll give you a discount. So swing out to a show I'm playing sometime. I'm playing a couple different shows this weekend with Jesse, a couple private shows, and we'll be at the Rockin' Picnic. So maybe I'll bring those t-shirts there. If you buy a shirt from me at the Rockin' Picnic, I'll donate the profits back to the Rockin' Picnic. The t-shirts, I still got the classic size, or the classic style in multiple sizes, and I've got the new style in a few different colors in some larger sizes available. So I do know there were some people that pre-ordered shirts. If you pre-ordered one, hit me up. I need to get you guys your shirts. Come out to the Rockin' Picnic and I'll deliver a whole pile of shirts, and we can all be happy people with Audible Farm shirts on. If you guys want to support the podcast non-monetarily, the easiest way to do that is like, subscribe, and share. Maybe leave a comment on an episode if you listen to it somewhere, or leave me a review. Go to iTunes or the Apple Podcast app. Leave us a review there. I love reading the new reviews there. People are starting to leave reviews here and there, and it's pretty awesome. I'm going to get some new subscribers on the YouTube channel as well. That's pretty sweet, so thank you guys for that. The subscribe on the YouTube channel might not mean much to you, but it means a lot to me. It's pretty awesome just to slowly climb those charts and get up there. If we get up to 300 subscribers on the YouTube channel, I'll start releasing some of these Patreon episodes back that are backlogged, and I will put them back on the YouTube channel for public viewing. And so that's maybe a little incentive to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll get some of those video versions out there for people to watch. But otherwise, thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope to see you Sunday at the Rockin' Picnic. I will be there in some capacity or another for the majority of the afternoon. I might not be able to make it for the night events because I do have a show that night as well. I will not be at the Saturday event because I do have a show that night too, unfortunately. I gave Scott crap for it in the episode, and then I realized I also have a show Saturday that I have to play at. So my bad, Scott. It's just the life of a musician. It's awesome being in the community and having so many friends that play music, but it also kind of stinks when you have, like another show when they're playing their show and you'd like to go watch your buddies play music. But hey, that's what Jam Nights in Barnum are for. That's another one. I haven't talked about Jam Nights in Barnum for a while, but I did have a good time at the Jam Night recently. So if everybody was at Jam Night, if you're listening to this, hats off. Great time at Jam Night. I'm done for this week. So I'll see you guys Sunday at the Rockin' Picnic. I'm out. Peace.